Hello, everybody. Before this podcast starts, I just want to say thank you to Isaiah for coming on and giving me an insight on what it was like for him to grow up in Akron and what it's like to play basketball here at Heidelberg. In this podcast and many others, you'll find me talking quite a bit, probably more than a podcast host should. But it's because, I'm intrigued. These people come from very different backgrounds, they come from different locations of the state or even the country. And it's eye opening, it's intriguing. And so that's why I kind of go off sometimes, and I apologize if that is annoying. I can see how it could be. But yeah, it's just, this podcast is just as fun for me as it is for the guests. So I do apologize for how much I talk. Another thing is, in this podcast, you'll notice that Isaiah, in one of the questions, shocks me. Not in a bad way, but in a good way. He talks about the passing of his father, and, it hit me. It hit me in the heart. It's crazy how these podcasts can just really humble you, and, you learn things from people. And for him to share that with me was amazing. And, I just want to say thank you to Isaiah for coming on. And I think this podcast, whether you're listening it as a basketball player, as just a normal student, or someone who has a job, I think you can really learn a lot from this kid. And it was an amazing podcast to be a part of. A lot of my podcasts usually are like these, but I've only had a couple. I've only had seven, and this is probably the one that has hit the hardest so far. So I hope you guys really enjoy this. If you think you know someone who should be on the Bergcast, please email me at breed2@heidelberg.edu. I literally will interview anybody who's an athlete here. I love meeting new people and just getting an insight on what it's like, why you guys came here. Anyway, enjoy the podcast. You guys have a great day. Hello and welcome to the Bergcast. I'm your host, Brett Reed, and on this podcast series, we deep dive into the life of Division III athletes here at Heidelberg University. If you have any suggestions or comments for the next episode, please comment down below. Today's guest is Isaiah Young. Let me give him a little introduction. In high school, Isaiah achieved two-time All-State selection, two-time USA Today All-Star, two-time Akron Beacon Journal All-Star, two-time first-team All-District, two-time first-team All-Northeast Ohio. He racked up 930 points in two varsity seasons, was a two-year captain, and averaged 19.8 points per game, 3 assists per game, and 2.3 steals per game in his senior season. Not to forget, he earned honor roll all 4 years, earned the Manhood Award, and his class senior VP. That was just high school, ladies and gentlemen. Now, as only a freshman, he has already earned OAC Player of the Week, Berg Athlete of the Week, is 5th in the conference for field goal percentage, and is the 3rd leading scorer on his team. Isaiah is averaging 11.7 points per game, 2.8 assists per game, and 1.1 steals per game while shooting 55.6% from the field. As for academics, he was the winner of the Diversity Scholarship, earned Dean's List his first semester, is a part of the Student Senate, and is a double major in political science and economics. Isaiah, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
It has been a joy watching you this year. We have attended most of the home games, and I can say you were probably one of the funnest people to watch on the court, other than your guys' center. I know he likes to dunk a lot.
Yeah, Eric.
Yeah, but I mean, whenever you get on the court, everyone goes crazy, and it's. I know that Wilmington game was one of the best games I think I've watched Berg play in a while. So
yeah, that was fun. I appreciate that.
Yeah, it's nice having you on. We haven't done one in a while, but it's nice to have a basketball player. You're the first basketball player, I think, and. Yeah, so we'll just get right into it, I guess.
Sounds
so,
good.
Where are you from?
So I'm from Akron, Ohio.
Okay. So you live. I know. I have a friend that lives in Akron, Ohio. He lives more on the south side. So do you live north, east?
I'm West Akron.
Okay. And what was your high school like in Akron?
So I went to a private school.
Okay.
So I went to Hoban. It was pretty much the size of Heidelberg.
Okay.
But everyone was very close, and it's a Catholic school, so they really preach like family and religion and stuff like that. So it was really fun, actually.
So I actually went to a private school myself.
Okay.
So it's crazy that you went to a private school, but you had 1,000 kids
Yeah.
in your school. But I only had about 200 to 300 people.
Oh, wow.
So big difference. What were other schools around you, like surrounding you?
So there's St. V, of course, that most people know of, and then there's about 7 Akron public high schools. And those are probably pretty much the same as any public school. You live in the neighborhood, you kind of go there, and then there's rivalries within the city league, and so those are pretty good high schools too.
So would you say that your high school, as Hoban, were you guys D3, D2?
We were D1,
D1,
actually.
really? Wow, that's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
So you got your D1 private high school. What was it like playing other like high schools?
It was fun. We get a lot of fans at our game, so that was always fun. And my junior year, we actually became independent, so we didn't have a league, so we just
Gotcha.
got to schedule
Yeah.
games. And so our coach was really adamant about like scheduling teams that would bring that kind of atmosphere.
Mhm.
So it was always fun.
Would you say your guys' high school had a good I don't know the best way to word this, but would you guys say you guys had a good like student section for everything? Was it rich?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
it was usually pretty
I
nice.
figured that. Did you guys have a really good football team?
We did. So our football team was incredible.
Okay.
They're I think it's 5 state championships in the last 7 years.
Wow.
So
That's crazy. I
yeah.
know, I mean, I can honestly relate to you with a private high school. I know what it's like to go to a private high school and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
I just know the one thing that we had was like everyone just connected so well to private
Yeah.
high school. And in my opinion, I did go to a public school for a little bit, but the best thing you get from a private school is probably like a family.
Yeah.
It's probably
I
the
would
best
agree.
thing.
I would agree.
So, you're from Akron. You went to Hoban. What got you into playing basketball?
So I have an older brother who, at a young age, you always want to be like your older sibling.
Mhm.
And so he picked up a basketball, and shortly after, I decided to pick up a basketball, and here we are.
So, did you develop that really early, or was it when you got older? Did you play any sports before basketball?
So basketball was the first sport I played, and I remember I played for the first time when I was 8 in an 8 to 10-year-old league. And then around that time, I had friends that played football, so I decided to do it for a few years. And then I really just kind of stuck with basketball.
Awesome. Do you think? So, did you just play basketball in high school, or did you play any other sports?
Just basketball.
Just basketball. Okay, so that was like your thing in the summer, spring.
Yeah.
That's all you trained for.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So, did you go to any like I'm not like really good with basketball. I played high school basketball for like 2 years.
Nice.
But I'm not sure. Like I joined really late. So AAU.
Yeah.
Did you do anything like that?
I did. So I played AAU like all throughout playing basketball. I think I maybe took 1 year off, but
Okay.
AAU is really fun.
Awesome. And would you say, like, as for like sports, like you got into basketball, when you got into basketball, did you maybe like copy your game like from somebody? Like, did you like idolize somebody like a certain basketball player?
I kind of like to take things from a lot of different basketball players.
Okay. Yeah.
So like when I first started, all I could do was dribble. So
Okay.
I was not a threat to score at all. And so I started looking at people that could score,
Mhm.
and so I started to just take little things from them, and then being from Akron, all you hear about is LeBron. So
Right,
you
right.
want to try to be like LeBron, which doesn't happen. But
I mean, what are you gonna do? And that was a question I actually had myself. When you get, we're talking about basketball now. When you get in a St. Vincent, St. Mary's, do you have a different atmosphere, or do you just get in there and you're like, it's another game?
so I mean, they've always been really good. So that when you go play at St. V or even just play them anywhere, that they're gonna bring it.
Right.
And for us, that's a huge rivalry. So, like sometimes we would play them at Akron U. So like we're playing
Okay.
at a
Yeah,
university,
yeah.
and we're playing in them. And then if you go to St. V and you're playing in the LeBron James Arena,
Mm-hmm.
that's always a different atmosphere. And so they're always really tough. So you can't really treat it like just any other game because that's how you get beat by 30. But you try to just take the same approach with every game.
Right. And that's just, I don't know, that is just crazy that you get to experience that. Like, get to go. See, like, I know schools around my area, we never got to go play in a college, unless you made it to, like, regionals or
Right.
state, whatever.
Yeah.
But you got to just play if you were playing,
Yeah.
just a team across the street.
Right.
Which is crazy because, like, I can't even, like, fathom that. But our school would have to make it to, like, state to go play at, like,
Right.
a college university. All right, so you have Hoban Private High School. You have your basketball. You're from Akron. Heidelberg is in Tiffin, Ohio. Why Heidelberg?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I started getting recruited like right before my senior season started, and Heidelberg was actually the first school to recruit me.
Awesome.
So there was a soft spot there, and then I just really connected with the coaches.
Mhm.
It seemed like they were really interested. So I built a relationship there, and then I just really thought that the basketball program was on the right path. Like historically, Heidelberg basketball hasn't really been talked about
Mhm.
a lot, but I knew that last season they had a really good season, finishing second in the conference.
Mm-hmm.
But the group of guys that they had and we have this year knew that they weren't satisfied with that, and
Right.
so I kind of fed off that hunger and realized that we could do something special here.
I remember last year was weird because it was a COVID season.
Right.
But I come from a private school who was actually good at basketball,
Mm-hmm.
so I was expecting to come and watch someone just as good, and
Yeah.
it happened. I came here and the basketball team is just really good. You just get to watch all these great players play on one team, and then you guys just got even better this year, and it's really been just a joy to watch. So. We'll go back to that question later, but we'll revert back to the question I just asked.
Okay.
So, Heidelberg's your first offer. That was also my case as well.
Okay.
Did you get any other high school offers?
Yeah, so a lot of OAC schools, like I went on visits to Mount Union, John Carroll, Capital, BW recruited me a little bit, and then outside of the OAC, it was Ohio Wesleyan, Allegheny College. There may be a few more that I could be forgetting, but those were like the main bunch.
Right. And I honestly think the coaches do a really good job of I don't know, when I got my offer, like you said, it's just you connected well.
Yeah.
It happens. I don't know how they do it, but
Yeah.
they get it done.
They
do. All right. Aside from the questions, we're going to play a little mini game.
Okay.
So I picked a few of your teammates. I picked 3 of your teammates.
Okay.
And I cropped them down to the hardest thing I could to try to get you to throw you off. But you're going to essentially guess who that teammate is.
Okay.
In the past, I've had people just nail this, completely out of the ballpark. So I tried to make it as hard as I could. It starts off easy, gets harder, but let's see how you do.
Okay.
All right, this is your first teammate. Let's see, let me click this one out. There you go. You can take your time, but if you know right away, just let me know.
I have 2 people in mind that could be.
All right. You can tell me the 2 and then just stick with one final one.
Okay, so I think that's either Dylan Woods or that's DJ.
Okay.
And I'm going to go with... I'm going to say that is DJ.
Alrighty. It is Dylan Woods.
I knew it was one of the 2.
Alright, my thing here is I'm trying to stump you because
Right.
I don't want you to win because
Right.
I've been getting absolutely trashed on lately. So, alright, next person, here we go.
Oh, man.
Take your time, take your time.
I'm going to go with Zane Lightwine.
That is correct. It is Zane Lightwine. Alright, and this is your final person.
Oh, that's got to be Eric Panning.
Final guess?
Final guess.
Alrighty. It is Jordan Jury.
Wow. Okay.
All
Man.
right, 1 for... No. 1 for 2. All right, or 1 for 3. Wow, math.
Yeah.
That's why I'm sadly a marketing major. Anyway, but yeah. Well, congrats. I stumped you, but
You did.
I made that probably the hardest one possible yet. So, but I'm glad you got one. At least you got one. All right, so now we're going to be moving into the next question I have for you. What was your biggest transition from high school to college, academically and athletically?
Okay. I would say academically it was kind of more so, having to study a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
In high school you can sometimes get by you're just looking at things the day before, but
Right.
as you know, college, that
Yeah.
just doesn't get it done. So I would say that. And athletically, I think coming into a team that has the talent that we have, you have to kind of humble yourself really fast.
Mm-hmm.
And this is something that our coaches do a good job of telling us about. But, most of us on our high school team, we were probably the best player. And
Right.
then, you come here where, that's probably not the case. So you kind of have to accept a new role. And
Mm-hmm.
I would say that was challenging. But, now that I've done that, it's super fun.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
You've worked hard. You've done everything you could, and
Yeah.
now here you are.
Right.
You're still starting, and it's, well deserved. Well
Yeah,
deserved.
for
And
sure.
and that's awesome that you can I guess take that in, that that you need to be humbled and that that you need to work hard to get your spot. And that's
Yeah.
good because some people, I'm not saying your team, I'm not saying any team here, but a lot of people, some people don't know how to just quite do that.
Right.
So it's good that your coaches can like implement that on you, and
Yeah.
you guys can take it in and actually
Sure.
just work on it, which is awesome. That was a great answer.
Yeah, appreciate that.
All my best answers have come from that. So very good answer. So now we're gonna go to the next segment. So it is going to be explain that picture. I have 3 pictures of you. You sent me, and we're gonna look at the picture, and we're just gonna talk about like that day, that memory, whatever the picture just brings to you.
Okay.
All right. This is the first picture you sent me. It's from high school.
Okay.
So yeah, do you remember anything from that day, that season?
Yeah. So this is a good one. So this was actually senior night. And if you look at the guy behind me, that's actually the head coach here.
Really?
Coach B.
Wow,
So
that's crazy.
Yeah.
So he came to your game, your senior night, and this is a really good picture. But like, is it just ironic that he's in the background? Or?
It is.
So,
it is.
Wow.
At that time I had not made a college decision yet.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that picture aged very well.
It seems like it has. Wow, I did not even realize that when I put that in there that was the coach.
Yeah.
So thank you for that little like Easter egg right there.
For sure.
So you guys have all right. So what was I gonna ask? So do you know the team you were playing that day? How this night went?
Yeah. So this was Coventry, and it was actually unique because it was our second game of the season, but it was senior night because with COVID, our coach wanted to make sure that we got a senior night.
Right.
And so we kind of scheduled Coventry kind of randomly, and it was a Saturday night, and we ended up winning pretty big. And so I think the most special part was we had 6 seniors, and not all of them got a ton of minutes, but we were up big in senior night, and all of our seniors actually got in and scored.
That's
so
awesome.
Yeah.
That's always great when you just senior night you put the guys who just don't get a lot of
sure.
playing time, put them in, and then boom, they shock the crowd.
Exactly.
All right, move on to the next picture. Here we go. I believe the funny thing is the coach was in the last one. I'm actually in the background on this
Really?
one. Yeah, I'm all the way. I'm right here.
Okay.
So I'm assuming that this is the Wilmington game, right?
Oh, I think so. This was actually first home game. So this was Bluffton.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
And any memory from there?
Yeah. So, just recently I found out that I could dunk, and so sometimes I forget that because it's new to me, and so I just remember laying this in and then running back on defense, thinking I probably should have dunked that.
So could you dunk in high school?
No.
You just
I dunked for my first time here.
Really?
Yeah.
In practice?
Not in practice, just messing around.
Just messing around?
Just like, I wonder if I can, and now I can.
So do you guys practice for that? Like, obviously you guys practice your vertical, but did you just kind of just do one and you're like, wow, I can just dunk now?
Right, yeah. So we don't really practice, dunking, especially not guards.
Right.
I mean, we may do some things where, our bigger guys that are used to dunking, we're kind of throwing them lobs and stuff like that so they can get touches on that, and we can practice throwing those passes. But for us, it's kind of just when you get an opportunity, take it.
Yeah. I mean, we watched I think Manny Purdue. I mean, dude, I did not think he had that type of bounce on him.
That
but
was incredible.
He got up.
He did.
And it was crazy. I was like, what the heck? And then your center just came back the next play and dunked one. I was like, all right.
Yeah.
It was just awesome watching that.
Fun.
But all right, next picture. I don't know if that's the same night or a different day.
So this is our last game against Capital.
Okay.
And I'm very hard on myself from the free throw line. And I try to keep myself around like 75%, 80%. So this is laser sharp focus right here is all I could do to describe that, because I mean I really take pride in taking free points when they're available.
Mm-hmm. I seen your form. You do a little stutter and then you go back up.
Yeah.
So when you get like obviously I only play two-years of basketball, so my form changed literally every shot. I'm not gonna lie, but like so, you have that same free throw form from high school?
Yeah. So I actually my freshman year I did not shoot well from the free throw line.
Okay.
And so I looked at some of the best free throw shooters, and that's actually what Klay Thompson does.
Really?
So yeah, so
wow.
I stole that from him, and it's worked for me.
I mean, it looks like it's working all right.
Yeah.
So all right, awesome. That was great. Alrighty, now we're gonna move on to a couple more questions and then another segment.
Okay.
All right. So, what motivates you to maybe, I guess, academically and athletically? What motivates you? Your family, just the hard work.
I would say it's mainly family based, especially now. This past summer, I actually lost my dad.
Okay.
And so a lot of what I do now is just making sure that he's proud and that I can just, keep a legacy going.
That's awesome.
So,
That is that's very touching because I have no words for that, but I'm sorry for your loss. I love those kind of stories because I know my parents. I mean, I love them, and if that happened, I just would want to work hard for them.
Yeah,
and
sure.
That is a great answer. Thank you for that.
Appreciate
I
that.
love hearing that kind of stuff. So, academically,
Mm-hmm.
what motivates you to just do your best?
I mean, for me, I'm not naturally like this genius or insanely smart. So I know that I have to try a little bit harder and I have to put in more work. And for me, it's kind of just a pride thing of you want to be successful.
Right.
You want to do the right thing. My parents spent a lot of time making sure that I was in a position to one day be successful, and so now it's my job as I get older to make sure that I'm living that and doing that.
So you kind of felt that because you got Dean's List last semester. Isn't that just kind of a...
And it's not easy.
Exactly.
So it was a challenge.
I know I'm a sophomore and I got Dean's List, and you just you get that, you're like, yes, I achieved that.
For sure.
And in college, I mean, I know, you get in high school and you could probably do it, just passing by. I'm not going to lie. I got, honor roll just passing by.
Right.
But when you get in college, it's kind of like, man, I worked hard for that.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's very good for you.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So, you've only been here. This is a tough question for you because you've only been here for one semester. Okay. But what is your favorite memory here at Heidelberg that you have so far? Sports-wise.
Sports-wise. Okay. I would say every time we win a game, the celebration in the locker room is amazing. And so that's one, but I would honestly say I think just being in the atmosphere at our last game and everyone being surprised when Manny went up and had that dunk. I mean, I think those for me are the best moments. Just being happy for a teammate. And seeing that someone else's success and everyone's buying into the process and we're all on the sidelines cheering.
Right.
So I would say that's probably the one that stands out to me.
That is, I just listening to you, I feel like we have a lot in common. I don't know if it's because of high school, we both went to a private high school, but I mean, I completely get what you mean. When your teammate is succeeding and you're watching your whole team succeed, it is probably one of the best feelings ever.
Sure.
So for you to be on a great team it's awesome. And it makes you do better as well. So
sure.
I feel like, you being on a great basketball team makes you a better player.
Appreciate that.
That's awesome. We will now move on to the next segment. This is a new segment.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I usually have a soda pop segment where we try candy or something weird. But I unfortunately do not have stuff today. But I came up with a new segment. I thought this would be fun. So I'm going to give you rapid fire questions. Not so rapid fire. You can take your time a little bit.
Okay.
But I'm going to ask you a list of these questions. I'm thinking about 10. And I'm going to say one, and you're just going to give me a teammate. I'm going to say it. First teammate that comes to mind. You can, if it's a double answer, if it's a triple answer, as many times as you want, give me their name.
Okay.
All right. Who would you give the aux to?
Dylan Woods.
Okay. Who would you not let your daughter date?
That's a long list. I would say probably first and foremost Isaiah Flood.
All right. Who dresses the best?
Manny.
Okay. Who has the best hair?
Martone Cone.
Who's the smartest on your team?
Man,
you can say yourself.
Man. Riley Gossam.
Biggest hype man?
That would probably be Jake.
Works out the most?
Nakai Taylor.
Funniest guy on your team?
Seth Holman.
Worst cook?
So I actually haven't had any of their cooking, but I'm gonna just guess probably Zane Lightwine.
Gets clowned the most?
Zane Lightwine.
All right. You get one phone call. They answer, you live. They don't, you die. Who you calling?
Riley Gossam.
Let's call him up. You got your phone on you?
Oh, I do. Let's see this.
Let's call him up. You can just call him and say, hey, and then just hang up. But let's just see if he answers.
See if I live.
Will Isaiah live? and gentlemen.
Hello?
Thank you, Riley. There we go.
Perfect.
There we
Isaiah
go.
will live. Wow. All right, that was a good one.
Yeah.
Wow, that was bad. All right. So that was a good segment. I actually kind of like that.
Yeah,
So
that was fun.
we'll probably do that from now
Yeah.
on. All right. So now, also another hard question because usually I typically ask advice for freshmen, but you're a freshman,
Right.
so I can't quite give you that question. So, advice. What advice would you give for upcoming freshmen, so seniors in high school, or anyone wanting to start basketball?
So are you saying seniors that would play college basketball?
Right, and anybody who is just starting fresh.
Okay. So for a senior, looking to play college basketball, I would say, just really pay attention to what coaches are telling you because a lot of times they are honest. You just have to believe them.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would say, just take your time and make sure that you're picking a place that fits you. Because I think that's probably the best thing that I did was, even outside of basketball, Heidelberg is where I would want to be. So I would say that's very important. And then anyone just starting, I would say, just work hard. I mean, I know it sounds very basic, but, that's all it takes is really just to put in the work. And, if you want something, then you work for it. And don't let anyone tell you can't do it because you can.
Awesome. That is great advice. So typically, I have a few questions of my own. So these next ones are not on the list, but I'm just going to ask them because I'm curious.
Okay.
So, I feel like I already know the answer to this, but what is your favorite basketball team?
The Toronto Raptors.
Really?
Really?
Wow.
Yeah, that's
okay,
a wild
I
card.
was not expecting that. I was really expecting Cleveland Cavs.
Right.
But all right, Toronto Raptors. Is there a
Yeah.
certain reason why?
So I always like being different.
Okay.
And so you never really hear of a Toronto Raptors fan around in this area.
Exactly.
And then the 1 year where LeBron, when he played for the Cavs, he was going to the finals every year.
Mm-hmm.
And they had swept everyone, and they got to the Eastern Conference Finals, and then the Raptors took them to 6 games. And so I was like, this is a tough team. And so ever since then, I've been a Raptors fan, and I've got all the criticism about being the LeBronto Raptors and all that. So it was very satisfying when we won the championship a few years back. So.
Awesome. See, that's funny because I'm a Minnesota Vikings fan for football.
Okay.
And you don't really hear about many Minnesota Vikings fans.
Right, yeah.
So I like to be different.
Exactly.
I don't have a favorite basketball team, but I do like the Celtics just because my dad likes the Celtics.
Yeah.
But, I don't really... I follow basketball players.
Right.
So, actually, next question, I guess. Give me your top 3 favorite players that you like to watch or just...
You got to say LeBron. Fred VanVleet, who's the Raptors point guard, is exciting. And then as much as it pains me to say this, Steph Curry is very exciting to watch.
Exactly,
I don't like him. I'm not a fan of the Warriors, but when you watch him, the things that he does is just incredible.
That's funny that you named Fred VanVleet because I know a lot of people who actually like Fred VanVleet. He is one of those people who he just signed a massive contract and he wasn't drafted?
Right, no,
so
undrafted.
That's hard work right there.
It is.
And that's really good that you like him. So, Isaiah, that is all the questions I have for today. Thank you for coming on the show. I appreciate having you on. It's been fun. Good luck on the rest of your season. Who do you guys play tomorrow?
Oh, Marietta, which is going to be a tough game. Number 8 in the country. So
okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And for the people who don't know, Heidelberg is ranked 19th?
19th, yeah.
19th in the country right now for D3. So they have a pretty good team. Hopefully we can have you back on your senior year or sometime else. But maybe this video will age very well.
Yeah.
And hopefully you just finish the rest of your freshman campaign strong.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that.
No problem. Catch you guys in the next one.